It's the Huddy Hui. Find Huddy Sports on Instagram and Facebook. huddysports.co.nz. Now let's kōrero.
Kia ora, good evening and welcome to the Huddy Hui, episode 148. It's been a busy Wednesday here on Huddy Sports. We'll talk about the first 15 traditional at Wellington College in Silverstream earlier today that was played in probably the most atrocious conditions of the season so far. And speaking about someone that knows about rugby, he's another Englishman that we have on the Huddy Hui this week is Jack Greig. Jack, many thanks for coming on the Hui. You got to experience the wild Wellington weather within the last week. How have you found it compared to the weather at home?
It's not too dissimilar, to be fair. It's a lot windier here. It's a bit colder as well, but other than that, it's pretty similar.
Let's talk about what happened last week in the Premier game against Huddy Boys Marist. Did they just simply go beast mode against Poneke last Saturday?
Oh yeah, I think they just beat us up physically a bit, and yeah, I think we tried stuff, but it just didn't come off. So I think we're gonna regroup this week. Had a good session yesterday, and yeah, looking forward to this weekend.
Ross Bond is a well-known rugby figure in Wellington. What was his halftime speech like last Saturday?
He was actually quite calm, to be fair. He was pretty chilled. He thought that we were still in the game because that wind was so strong. But yeah, he just sort of said to go back to our basics, go to our system. Yeah, we still didn't manage to do that in the second half, but we were still much better than we were in the first. So I think it helped us.
You also played for the Premier Reserves. You actually started for them on Saturday. You also went up against Hutt at half-time. You were also facing a big deficit, but the different story is that the Premier Reserves came back to rally up to win at half-time. Tell us how you turned that game around.
Oh, I wasn't actually involved much in the second half, but from what I heard, we did what the Prems aim to do. I think we just went back to our basics, used the wind massively to our advantage, and yeah, we came out on top in the end.
Have you found the difference between going up to Premier Rugby and then playing at Premier Reserve Rugby here in Wellington?
I think Premier level, the physicality definitely goes up. And playing first five, I think you get put under more pressure to make better decisions at Premier level. Defences are a lot stronger than they are at Premier 2. Like, less gaps appear through the middle. So I think at Premier level, you sort of have to wait for an opportunity to sort of present itself, and then you've got to take it. Whereas like Prem 2, you get multiple opportunities to sort of take advantage of a hole in the defence.
Poneke Premiers have been hit by injuries and suspensions over the last 3 or 4 weeks, but you have some players returning this Saturday. Who are those players that are returning?
My flatmate actually is returning, Luca Bellucci, back this weekend, which is going to be massive for us. Jacob Graham should be back as well this weekend. Isaac Moore-Jenkins back in the midfield. And I think Ifani should be back this week as well. He was just unavailable last weekend. So, yeah, we've got a lot of boys coming back, which should help us.
Tell us about the culture at Poneke this season. Ross Bond has said the team has probably been the fittest it's been for a number of years. Tell us about the team dynamics.
Oh, I think we've come, like, as a Premier group and a Premier 2 group, we've come together really well this year. Like, especially being new to the club, I never really felt new at the club. Like, I was welcomed straight away. And I think that's massively helped sort of both teams do really well in the competition so far. I also think there's a lot of competition for places as well. And it's good competition. Like, it's making every player better. And yeah, like it's a system where like we don't. There's no one that's bigger than the team. The team always comes first. I feel with the boys. So yeah, I feel we've got a really good group going.
Tell us about who the coaching staff are besides Ross Bond and the Premier Group, but also at Premier Reserve level as well, the coaching staff for both sides.
So in the Premier, backs coach is Dan DK. He's massively helped me this year because he's got massive experience at this level, and obviously for someone new coming in, it's probably the highest level I've ever played, and he's helped me fit in and relax when I'm playing. And then you've got Meech, who does the forward stuff, who's also been really good for us. He's helped with our systems, and in recent weeks, he's massively improved the line out, which has been really good for us, especially against Poneke a couple of weeks ago. And then Prem 2 level, you've got Ando, club captain, who does the main work with the forwards, he's great. He's helped me out massively, both on and off the field with finding houses and stuff. So he's been really good for me. And Fraser, who helps out who does all the back stuff with the Prem 2s. And yeah, we've got a pretty tidy back line going at the minute. So yeah, we're feeling good about that.
You mentioned the Poneke result 2 weeks ago. It's been noted by your coach, one of your coaches, Phil Cartonet, that you fancy your goal kicking. Can you talk us through that massive penalty shot at goal that narrowly missed against Poneke?
I think I kind of knew my role when I came onto the pitch. Spoke to Bondi before I went on. I was like, I feel comfortable from that sort of range. To be fair, I didn't strike it the best, which a lot of people laugh at, but I don't think I quite got all of it, which was a bit annoying because I thought it was going to go, but it didn't quite get there in the end. But it was kind of my job that I knew what I had to do when I got on the pitch. So if an opportunity like that came up, I was always going to take it.
What is your main position at rugby? Are you a fly half? And if so, why?
Yeah, I'm a fly half. I played a bit of fullback as well, but mainly a fly half. I've kind of I just love. I've never really been a massive try scorer. I actually get more enjoyment out of putting other people in to score tries. And yeah, I've always found that, like, obviously scoring a try is great fun, but making your teammates look good around you makes you feel better about yourself, I find. So yeah, that's why I've always liked playing fly half.
How have you found the Poneke Rugby Football Club, and who welcomed you to the club?
Everyone's welcomed me. Like you go into the club rooms after the game, and like after my first game, everyone sort of came up to me. Like some people who had never met me before just came and congratulated me, welcomed me to the club. So it's been a really good experience. Like I had a couple of my friends played for the club last year from home, and they said it was a great club, but now actually being here sort of shows me how good of a club it actually is.
What is it like as an international player to come over to play rugby in New Zealand?
It's a bit scary, to be fair, when you first sort of commit to it, because you don't really know how you're going to fit in. But I think New Zealand was always the main option for me because it's like rugby's your first sport over here, and yeah, it's such a sort of everyone sort of lives rugby over here, which I've always loved, like the sound of. But then once you get over here, like the culture around rugby is so welcoming, so it takes that sort of fear factor away from you actually arriving at the club, which made me settle in pretty quickly.
And what do you do to keep yourself preoccupied during the week when you're not playing rugby?
Well, I actually live with two of the boys from the club, like Luca Bellucci and Lee Franzoni. So we live together. So we end up in the gym all like as a group and do all that sort of stuff together. Recently got ourselves a PlayStation, so that gets played a lot. But yeah, nice. It's a good flat to be in. We have some good fun here. So yeah.
You're from the United Kingdom. Where in the UK do you come from?
I'm from the southeast, so my main sort of like the biggest town near me is a place called Tunbridge Wells. Yeah, so people like bottom right corner of the UK is probably the easiest way to describe it.
Last week we had Luke Pearson on from Petone. He's another Englishman. He hails from Leeds up that way. What is rugby like in your neck of the woods? Is it impacted by football?
Oh yeah, massively. To be fair, I'm actually going to end up going up towards where he lives. I'm going to university up there next year, so I think there's a lot more rugby up that sort of way than there is down where I'm from. Football's like it's much more dominant where we are, but there's still a lot of rugby clubs around, and yeah, a lot of people play rugby as well as football.
And what football team do you follow?
I'm a Man United fan. My mum and her side of the family is originally from Manchester, so yeah, that's where I get it from. My dad probably won't be too happy about me saying that because he always says I was brainwashed by my mum's dad to support Man United. But,
Who does he support?
Yeah, he's Tottenham
Yeah.
Hotspur. So,
Well, they both had pretty bad seasons, didn't they? So,
yeah. Well, I'm sure my dad will be telling me that they beat us in the Europa League final. So I'll hear all about that later.
Yeah, exactly. Let's talk about your junior rugby. Where did that begin for you?
I started at my local club in Tunbridge Wells. I pretty much grew up there. That's where my dad played. So I've sort of come through the club from a junior. Then played at school. I was at East College, where we weren't the biggest school, but we had a couple of good seasons towards the end of my school career. Yeah, so that was great fun. Yeah, I got picked up by Harlequins when I was 14, I think. Was in that setup until I was 17, and then I got released. And then, yeah, played senior rugby at my home club and then came here. So, bit of a whirlwind of a journey.
Let's talk about being picked up by the Harlequins Academy. What did that involve?
To start with, it was more, it was a smaller thing. It was based around like, close to the location of my school, which made my life quite easy. But as I got older, like the squads got cut down, and I made it to under 17s where you start training in London. So yeah, there's a lot more travel involved when you get into that sort of setup. But yeah, I think we trained maybe 2 or 3 times a week, and then once school season was done, that's when we play all our games. So your season basically got split in half between school and Harlequins.
You attended Eastbourne College over there. What was it like? And was rugby the sport of choice?
I love school. Yeah, I love schoolboy rugby. I had a good group of lads around me when I was playing. It probably wasn't the first, like, as in, it wasn't the school's best sport. We had a good cricket side. But I think it sort of, depending on the year group, was how good the team would turn out. So around my sort of year group, we had 2 or 3 good years of high quality players coming through. which massively benefited us when it came to national competitions and stuff like that. So we had a couple of good seasons, which was good for the school.
Was there any significant games that you played while at Eastbourne College? Like in New Zealand, we have midweek traditionals for first 15 rugby.
Yeah, we had a few. Like we'd have the local school derbies where like you'd have a school from maybe half an hour, 20 minutes up the road from you. And then all of our national cup competitions were played on a Wednesday afternoon. So some weeks we'd play 2 games a week with our national cup on a Wednesday, and then it might be a big derby game on the Saturday. So it wasn't as like specific as the traditionals that you guys have over here, but in our minds as players, it was just as significant as those games.
How is club rugby different in the United Kingdom compared to New Zealand? This is a question we asked Luke Pearson last week.
I think I find training a bit different here. Training starts and finishes a lot earlier than it does at home. Yeah, like we normally wouldn't start training till about 8 o'clock at home, and then we'd finish pretty late. And then also on a game day, the fact that like the Prem 2s, the Colts would all play beforehand, and you get the opportunity to watch those guys run out. You don't have that at home. You'd have maybe one team at home, one team away. So you don't get quite like the feel of everyone being there for the Premier game that's later on in the afternoon, which I actually prefer here. I think it's pretty cool that all the boys are there to clap you out and yeah, gets you up for the game.
Has rugby taken you anywhere else overseas besides New Zealand?
I'm not sure yet. I think next year I'm definitely going to university back in the UK, so it won't be for a few years if it does. But to be fair, I'd love to come back and keep playing here. Yeah, come back and hopefully play a few seasons and try and get a blazer. That's the aim at the end of the day.
You mentioned that you're heading back to the UK for uni next season. What are you aiming to get a degree in?
I'm going to be studying sports science, so it goes hand in hand with the rugby pretty well. Yeah, it'll help with my preparation, my training, all that sort of stuff. So yeah, it'll go hand in hand quite nicely.
What university will you be attending up north?
I'll be going to Leeds Beckett, who they're part of the Bucks Super Rugby setup that we've got in England. So yes, the highest level of university rugby that I could play if I got into the first team at university.
Oh, fantastic. That is good. Have you got a main team in the English Premiership that you follow?
Not really. I always used to follow Harlequins when I played there, but then they dropped me, so I stopped following them. To be fair, there's a lot of good teams around at the minute, so I'll just kind of watch it and just enjoy the rugby.
We mentioned, about first 15 and traditional aspects. Over here, each club have their own way of honouring achievements for players in New Zealand. Is there something similar over there in club rugby in the UK for the club that you played for?
Yeah, I think for us, 25 games at my club, you get given your first team tie. So it's a bit different. You don't get presented your tie on your debut. And then I think you get something else at 50, and then you get a cap at 100. So yes, it's still celebrated the same way, but just slightly differently.
What is the biggest strength of your game? Some might suggest it's your goal kicking.
I probably would have said the same, but I actually haven't kicked that well so far this season. So, um, but yeah, I would probably say it was my goal kicking. But yeah, to be fair, I think obviously the wind has a massive effect over here, and it's a lot windier than it is at home. So it took me a while to adjust to that. But hopefully now I've adjusted it should be, I should get back to the level that I want to get.
Played a lot of rugby in your time, but looking back at your rugby career, is there one game where you learnt the most about yourself as a player?
It's probably a schoolboy game I had. It was like our local rival, and they're a much bigger school than us. I think they won the national competition last year. They were basically, on paper, they should have beaten us by 50, 60 points. But we beat them last play of the game, a penalty. And like I knew a lot of the guys who was playing against me. They were all in the Harlequin setup. They had like 7 or 8 academy players, and basically we went into the game with nothing to lose, and we just played. And they crumbled a bit towards the end. So yeah, I think I learned a lot that day because it kind of shows that you don't have to be the best team to win on the day.
Have you managed while your time here in New Zealand to see some of the college first 15 rugby in the Wellington region, particularly Wednesday games?
I've watched a couple. I watched a couple of the streams. I was going to go today, but the weather sort of put me off a bit.
Yeah, I don't blame you. It was pretty miserable.
Yeah, I watched it on the TV, and it looked to be a pretty good game. But I think when there's some nice weather, I think the boys in the flat I think we're all planning on getting down to one.
Yeah, exactly right. Now, the weather the last week has been pretty bad. What has been the best moment for you while playing rugby?
It's a tough question. I played first team level in year 11 at school, and we got to a low level national final, and we played at I think it was Saracen Stadium, and we lost. But I think for me personally to even get to the first team at year 11 was a big achievement, and then to get to that final was even bigger. Because that was the first final our school had ever been in as a rugby side. So I think that was a big achievement for me and the school.
Who's been the biggest influences in your rugby career to date?
Well, he's probably watching back home, but my dad, I started at my club because of him, and then he was the one who, like, after training would spend hours with me kicking goals, and that's probably why it's my strength. Like, I'd make him stay after training just to kick at the posts. And to be fair, he came over a couple of months ago, and he still went out with me and kicked goals whilst he was here, which was nice. So yeah, I think my dad, but also my mum for helping me get around to all my games and stuff like that. All my family, really.
Who's the better kicker, you or your dad?
I think even he'll agree with me on this one. I think I just about edge him on it now.
So what's your plans after the Wellington club rugby season finishes? Are you hanging around for a bit, or do you head straight back to the UK?
I think I'm sticking around for 2 weeks, and then I fly back home because I'm basically straight back into pre-season. So yeah, not much time off, but yeah, I think I'm going to give myself maybe a week and then go into pre-season.
And of course, coming up later this month and next month is the British and Irish Lions Tour of Australia. Lions, of course, assembling over there in Dublin. Quite a few Irishmen and some Englishmen in the Lions squad this year. How do you think the Lions will go over Down Under in Australia?
On paper, they should go well. It just depends how well the team comes together. I think if everything goes to plan, we should beat Australia comfortably. But you never know when you're bringing 3 different nations together.
Is the temptation
happen, really, so.
is the temptation to possibly go over and watch one of those test matches if you had the chance?
Yeah, I've been thinking about it. I have been debating it, but I think one of my flatmates has got tickets to go over. But yeah, I don't know whether I'll do it this time. I might do it when it comes back to New Zealand in a few years' time.
That's right, 4 years' time. The Lions are back here as well. If it's anything like the old 2017 series, it could be another fantastic competition. Now, of course, we're into the pressure cooker of the first round of the first round of the Swindale Shield for 2025, round 12, round 11, I should say, of 13. Poneke, you're back at home again this Saturday, but you're taking on Old Boys University, which is an important game for both teams. Of course, Old Boys University need to win to keep their season of making the Jubilee Cup section alive. You just need to keep getting back onto the winners' table. A crucial game, will be super tight. What will be the keys to victory this weekend against the Billy Goats?
I think we've just got to flush last weekend, forget about it. We can't do anything about it now. We had a good chat about it last night, just sort of going back to the shape and the simple stuff that's won us all the other games. We also spoke about how there will be one game a season where we won't be to the level we want to be. So we've just got to let that go and look forward to this weekend and hopefully get back winning.
Now, one thing we always do on the Huddy Hui is preview the Swindale Shield games coming up, and some of these teams you've already played against. Let's look at the matchups this weekend. Avalon versus Wainui-Mata out at Fraser Park. Avalon, unfortunately, at the bottom of the table against Wainui-Mata, who are sitting outside the Jubilee Cup section. Who do you think will win this game?
Wainui. I'll go Wainui. They gave us a good game at their place, and I think if they play like they did there, they should beat Avalon.
Yeah, exactly. If I'm going to go Wainui on that one as well. This one is an almighty juicy game. This is Johnsonville versus Tawa. Now, Johnsonville last week lost 25 points to 19 against Petone last week at home, and now they're in must-win territory to try and secure a higher place on the table. It's back at Helston Park. You guys beat Johnsonville a few weeks ago. Who do you think's going to win this one?
I think this will probably be quite tight, to be fair. I'm going to go Tower. I think Tower will just edge them.
Yeah, I think Tower. I'm going to pick Tower as well. Their forwards seem to be coming of age as the season goes on, particularly with the weather conditions. Next up is you guys against Old Boys University. So I know who you got to pick.
Yeah, I've got to back us at home. Hopefully, we'll bounce back after last weekend. And
yeah, exactly.
With another good prep tomorrow night, we should be there this weekend.
Yep, and I'm going to go Poneke as well on that one. It's the Battle of the Catholics over across the road at Evans Bay Park. Marist St. Pat's taking the team that you guys played last week, Huddy Boys Marist. Marist went down 29 points to 5 to Old Boys University, and of course we all know the result of Hutt against Poneke last week. Who's going to win the Battle of the Catholics?
Huddy Boys, I think. Their forward packs will just be too strong, too powerful for Marist and Pat's.
Exactly right. I'm going to go Hutt as well. Those forwards, once they get going, are pretty hard to stop. And they had the return of James O'Reilly back after nearly a year off from rugby after a neck surgery, so it's good to see him back. Over at Maidstone Park, it's these two that have a good record of mainly having a separation of 1 point between them. It's the Upper Hutt Rams and Parramatta Plymouton. Upper Hutt, you bet at home earlier in the season, and very much like the Hutt game, you went out to Ngāti Toa and played Parramatta Plymouton, and they gave Poneke a bit of a touch-up that afternoon. Who are you going on this one?
I think I'll go Para-Plym. I think, yeah, they were strong against us. But yeah, I think they'll just do, it'll be another close game, but I think they'll just come out on top.
Orient Rongotai versus the Wellington Axemen. Ori's top of the table, and pretty much a win this week would guarantee them the Swindale Shield. Have pretty much got it wrapped up anyway. You guys have got to play Oriental Rongotai still, but the Axemen gave Tawa a bit of a scare last week. How do you see this game going out at the Polo Ground?
I think Ori's will be too tough to beat. I know Axemen gave Tawa a game last week, but I think Ori's I think they should do that comfortably.
Of course, the last game of the round is the game that Huddy Sports is live streaming this Saturday. Is the home side Petone taking on Northern United. Your thoughts on this game? You've played Petone, and also I believe Poneke's played Norths as well, haven't they?
No, we haven't. North is our last
no.
game of the season. So
last game of the season, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not. I think Petone will come out on top, but obviously we haven't played North, so I'm not really sure what they'll be like as a side. But yeah, I'll probably go Petone.
Yeah, Petone, I'm going to pick Petone as well, but North's put up a good fight against Parramatta Plymouton on their Old Timers Day last Saturday. Well, Jack, many thanks for coming on the Huddy Hui tonight, and all the best this weekend, and hopefully we have better weather this Saturday than the weather we've had this week.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you. That is Jack Greig from the Poneke Rugby Club, and what a great interview that was with Jack Greig, I should say. Now, of course, earlier today on Huddy Sports, we live streamed the Wellington College and St. Pat Silverstream first 15 traditional, and it was great to have the commentary team of Adam Julian, myself, Phil Cartonet, and Ollie Mickey bringing you that game. And we would like to thank Richard Marenzi, the caretaker from Whitby Collegiate, who gave us his big van for us to broadcast through and kept us all dry, including our cameraman, James Willits, who did a sterling job in what was challenging conditions out there at Wellington College today. The score, 16 points to 15, and it was Fletcher Cooper with a drop goal with a few minutes to go that guaranteed Silverstream the win. And of course, last year's fixture was 27 points to 24 to Wellington College out at Silverstream. And it was Archie Sims that day that kicked the drop goal to win the game. So two traditionals in a row where a drop goal has been the winning moment to win that traditional. Earlier today also, there was another traditional for the Jim Team Memorial Trophy between Rongotai College and St. Bernard's College. Jim, of course, was a teacher at both of those colleges, and he was a teacher at St. Bernard's when he passed away nearly 2 decades ago, and he was heavily involved with rugby at both schools. And so there's a lot of history with this game, and St. Bernard's won that game today, 24 points to 22. And there was another game also, WRFU College beat Tawa today, 26 points to 15. And also looking at, that's a game that counted on as part of round 3. So we head into round 4. Wellington College and Silverstream already played alongside Rongotai and St. Bernard's. And these are the games on this weekend. It's Rathkill College taking on WRFU College, which will be an absolute interesting game over there at the hill at Rathkill, just out of Marston. So that'll be good. The other game I'm really looking forward to is Scots versus Hutt International Boys School. Scots actually put up a fight against St. Pat's Town, unfortunately going down in the end. And Hibs well, they got beaten at home by RFQ. So that was a bit of an upset. So that game could go either way. That's out at Scots College out there in Strathmore. And then Taua at home to St. Pat's Town. And the way the St. Pat's Town forwards are going, they're going to be a real dark horse in this competition. And I think they could probably cause an upset. They're still going to play Silverstream, which is happening in mid-July. Coming up on Huddy Sports tomorrow night, weather permitting. We had to call it off last week, but we're going to be bringing you the live stream of the College Sport Wellington Premier Free hockey match between Whitby Collegiate, and Onslow College out at Elston Park. Coverage of that will start at 3:45. And then this Saturday, we bring you the Swindale Shield match between Poneke and Northern United from the Poneke Rec. That game will kick off at 2:45, and our coverage for that will start at 2:30 on Huddy Sports YouTube. Tune in next Wednesday as we bring you Huddy Hui, episode 149, live here on Huddy Sports YouTube. Well, I hope you're all keeping warm and dry after some of that horrendous heavy rain that we had this afternoon. It's been a pleasure bringing you the Huddy Hui and also the First 15 traditional today. That has been the Huddy Hui for tonight. I'm Brad Hudson. Ciao for now.
It's the Huddy Hui. You can find Huddy Sports on Instagram and Facebook. And check out huddysports.co.nz.
Blocked drains, leaky pipes, don't let plumbing problems sideline your day. Call the team, Mike Pinfold Plumbing and Drain Laying Limited. Mike has been our sponsor since the very beginning. From quick fixes to full renovations, he's got the tools, the team, and the know-how to get the job done right. First time, every time. Local, reliable, and always on time. That's how Mike plays the game. Find Mike Pinfold at Pinfold Plumbing at extra.co.nz 027 430 4351. Mike Pinfold Plumbing and Drain Laying Limited. Also Google Mike Pinfold Plumbing and let the pros handle the flow.
Hi, Gavin Murphy here
And Cassie Murphy.
from G and Higton Funeral Directors.
Don't leave it up to someone else to tell your story. Do it now when you can enjoy being part of the conversation.
With a prepaid funeral, you can have music, readings and venue all chosen by you.
For your free funeral planning pack with everything you need to get started, go to our website at gnhigton.co.nz/pre-planning.
The Huddy Hui, Huddy Sports captivating sports show. The Huddy Hui covers Wellington Club Rugby as well as other sporting topics of debate. Tune in on YouTube during the rugby playing months as host Brad Hudson interviews rugby players and other sporting personalities across the Wellington region and the rest of New Zealand. Catch the Huddy Hui streaming on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, YouTube, and wherever good yarns are heard. The Huddy Hui live on Huddy Sports. Here at Huddy Sports, we love a good game plan. And when it comes to travel, our go-to is Louise Reddy from New Zealand Travel Brokers. Whether it's a sports tour, a family break, or that bucket list trip, she'll get you there stress-free with all the best deals around. She's local, she's experienced, and she backs the game like we do, and she's a great supporter of Huddy Sports. Look up Louise Reddy at louisereddy.co.nz louise@nztravelbrokers.co.nz or email louise.ready@newzealandtravelbrokers.co.nz. Travel smart and travel like a pro. As here on Huddy Sports, we're always wanting to keep our content free on YouTube. So the idea of sponsors, we can promote you on live stream, our social media pages and our website. It's good to support the local community and helps keep Huddy Sport free for all to watch. So if you're interested to helping Huddy Sports, go to huddysports.co.nz or to our email address, huddysportsnz@gmail.com. Ciao for now.